Is Iran now hitting Trump's biggest fear by turning the Strait of Hormuz into its ultimate revenge card? Using every drone clash and missile shot to squeeze Washington where it hurts most? Has Iran's deadliest bargaining chip in the Gulf now been squarely aimed at Trump, with every move around Hormuz and every downed drone raising the cost of his latest strikes? Are Iran's so-called Archers celebrating their biggest US drone hit in the Gulf yet, using this single strike to claim they can hunt American hardware whenever it crosses an invisible line? After the Hormuz strikes, Iran now displays the downed US drone as a war trophy, sending a message that every American platform shot from the sky will be paraded for the cameras. By showing off twisted MQ-9 wreckage after its clash with US forces, is the IRGC trying to prove that even America's most advanced drones can be dragged out of the Gulf in pieces? With this charred MQ-9 now on display, is the IRGC sending a very personal message to Trump that every strike he orders could end with another burned-out symbol of US power on Iranian soil? Amid fresh US-Iran tensions, Iran has released new footage showing the wreckage of a downed US drone, turning twisted metal into a visual reminder of how quickly the standoff can escalate. On May 26, Tasnim News put out video of what it says is US drone wreckage, carefully filming the debris to underline that the aircraft did not simply disappear over the Gulf. The video showed charred metal fragments and a heavily damaged drone body, reinforcing Iran's claim that its defenses not only detected the aircraft but brought it crashing down. Iranian media claimed the drone was hunted down by I.R.G.C. Kaman-Gir Archers, branding the unit as a specialist force capable of tracking and targeting high-value American assets. On May 26, Iran's Revolutionary Guard announced it had shot down a US MQ-9 Reaper drone over the Gulf region, framing the incident as a direct answer to recent US operations near Hormuz. Iran also claimed it opened fire on an F-35 jet and an RQ-4 reconnaissance drone near its airspace, signaling that even stealth and high-altitude platforms will be challenged if they come too close. The IRGC insisted that its fire forced the F-35 stealth fighter to retreat, using that claim to suggest its systems can push back against one of the most advanced aircraft in the US arsenal. Iranian forces warned they reserve the right to respond to any US violations, making clear that every drone, jet, and strike order near Hormuz could now trigger another cycle of retaliation. Backing the guards, Iran's president publicly hailed the military's defensive capabilities after the latest US strikes, presenting the downed drone as proof that Iran can surprise its enemies in the Gulf.
They did not imagine that our armed forces, our defensive power, and our offensive system could perform such feats. It was a completely surprising matter for all of them.
In the Ramadan War, we achieved a technology that targeted about 210 of the enemy's aircraft. And of course, by the permission of Allah and by their own admission, we were able to cause over $7 billion in damages to the enemy just in this matter alone. Or for example, the targeting of the enemy's stealth aircraft was one of the issues that was placed on the agenda of our dear people in the defense industry from the beginning of the Ramadan War. In less than 10 days, we mastered the technology that allowed us to cause serious damage to the F-35 aircraft and the enemy's advanced aircraft.
The latest drone incident came after US strikes hit targets near the Strait of Hormuz, tying the shoot-down directly to a broader cycle of attack and counterattack in one of the world's most sensitive choke points. Iranian state media claimed several Iranian nationals were killed in those US attacks, using the casualties to argue that Washington's actions go far beyond limited, surgical strikes. US Central Command, in contrast, said its strikes targeted missile sites and boats allegedly laying mines, portraying the operation as a defensive move to keep Hormuz shipping lanes open rather than a push toward full-scale war. Captain Tim Hawkins said, and I quote, "US forces conducted self-defense strikes in southern Iran today to protect our troops from threats posed by Iranian forces. Targets included missile launch sites and Iranian boats attempting to emplace mines. US Central Command continues to defend our forces while using restraint during the ongoing ceasefire." Unquote. The strikes reportedly targeted Bandar Abbas, Iran's critical naval hub and a major strategic military installation nationwide. The escalation followed Trump's earlier declaration announcing major combat operations against Iran beginning from February 28 this year. Washington claimed the operation specifically targeted threats posed against American troops, military assets, and regional strategic interests abroad. CENTCOM insisted the strikes were defensive measures designed to deter further attacks and protect American regional military operations. The renewed confrontation unfolded while Trump simultaneously pushed diplomatic efforts aimed at securing a broader nuclear agreement with Tehran.
We took that over in one day, and we lost no one In Operation Epic Fury, we lost 13 wonderful souls, wonderful, special people. These incredible men and women gave their lives to ensure that the world's #1 state sponsor of terror will never have a nuclear weapon. Oh, and they won't. They will never have a nuclear weapon. I'm sure you know that.
This came as Washington maintained a blockade on Iran until negotiations conclude one way or the other, according to Trump. Trump also signaled a softer tone regarding Iran's enriched uranium stockpile through a recent Truth Social post online. The US president said he prefers Iran's uranium be destroyed locally or under strict international supervision elsewhere internationally. Reports suggest Iran is seeking guarantees from China and may consider relocating enriched uranium stockpiles there for security. Donald Trump said, and I quote, "The enriched uranium will either be immediately turned over to the United States to be brought home and destroyed, or preferably, in conjunction and coordination with the Islamic Republic of Iran, destroyed in place or at another acceptable location, with the Atomic Energy Commission, or its equivalent, being witness to this process and event." Unquote. Iran International reported fatalities on Larak Island after alleged American strikes intensified tensions near the strategic Strait of Hormuz. Iran International said, and I quote, "Several people were reported killed after what Iranian outlet SNN described as a US-Israeli attack on the southern part of Larak Island near the Strait of Hormuz early Monday local time." The report named 3 of the alleged victims as Abbas Islami, Godrat Zarangari, and Abdul Reza Golzari, though the total number of casualties remains unclear. There were also unconfirmed reports that those killed were affiliated with the IRGC. Unquote. Despite ceasefire extensions and ongoing diplomacy, relations between Washington and Tehran remain dangerously volatile as military tensions escalate.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.